Good morning, agents, and welcome to another daily episode of Target Loot today for Thursday, November 19th. In this series, we cover the Target Loot map, Dark Zone exclusives, highlights for the weekly vendors, build and farming suggestions, and much more. I'm Agent Shadow, and if you enjoy this video, consider rating it with a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so you never miss a daily or build video. And remember to comment below if you have any questions at all. Anyway, let's get this morning started, agents. Alright, agents, so we're going to just combine the starting, video with, of course, Dark Zones and North Side because there's nothing worth farming for in the DZ West or South. But first off, in the DZ West, there is a rock and roll shotgun with perfectly extra on it. I would highly recommend going over here and grabbing it. It is 152 DZ resources, just like any other, named DZ item in the DZ vendors. But remember, the rock and roll shotgun has 30 rounds in it. It's a fully automatic shotgun. It's probably better than the mop or just as good. It's that 10% armor on kill that's so great about the mop, really. But I would highly recommend picking this up so you don't have to farm for it for sure. Now over in DZ East, we got Grupo Sombro for like the 4th day in a row. You can, of course, farm for the Door Kicker's Knock with Perfect Spark on it. It's a DZ exclusive chest piece, but they did fix Perfect Spark and Spark, so where it doesn't just activate all the time anymore. So I don't know if you want to go and farm for that. Otherwise, at the White House, the clan vendor, there's a really good Cold Relations if you need to pick that up. It's a slept-on SMG, and I highly recommend grabbing it, and you could fix the rest of it with the optimization station coming out entitled Update 12. Now, going on to the north side, targeted loot, of course, we got LMGs at Camp White Oak. So what you want to do is farm for either the exotic Bullet King or the exotic Pestilence. Both of those are really good LMGs, but I really prefer the Pestilence above the Bullet King. The Bullet King's base damage just needs to get buffed a little bit more, I think. Otherwise, you could farm for a named LMG. Probably my favorite is the Carnage mixed with the ongoing Directive. The Good Times with Perfect Fast Hands is pretty good, and the new Reliable is my favorite right after the Carnage. Hardwired at Coney Island Ballpark. Now, I'll leave my Assault Turret Striker Drone build in the top right card and in the bottom left overlay for you agents. Otherwise, we got Douglas and Harding to farm for in Manning National Zoo area. So anyone that's looking to put together a headshot build that doesn't include aces and eights, because you can get a much better headshot damage build if you don't use aces and eights. And one of the pieces you're going to need is Douglas and Harding. It's a named mask called the Punch Drunk, and it gives you 20% headshot damage baked right into it. I would farm that today if you need it. I actually like Manning National Zoo. Kinley College is open for another 4 days, and the Summit, of course, you pick your own targeted loot, but I've had it at Hunter's Fury since the very beginning because I personally don't like Summit. Then I like farming the open world. All right, let's go check out the west side, then the east side, then New York City. All right, agents, now we're over here on the west side of the DC area. Let's go ahead and get started. So we got True Patriot at DARPA Research Labs. Now, True Patriot is an amazing build. It's a great set for DPS and tank and DPS hybrid builds. I got one that I'll put in the top right card now that is just absolutely amazing, and it's not my favorite build, but it's definitely my second favorite build above my ultimate, DPS hybrid build that I put out like a week ago. Now, this one goes great with the Memento, 4-piece True Patriot, and a Sokolov chest with Intimidate. Highly recommend it with the Lady Death as well. And we got Close Protocol at Lincoln Memorial. That is great for fire damage sets or status effect sets. It just depends on what you want to get done. You usually want to mix 4 pieces with a 1-piece Golan gear, and then you want to go ahead and grab an Imperial Dynasty holster or a Vile Mask to mix with it, and that just causes a mayhem of effects. Now we got knee pads at Tidal Basin Stronghold. Now you can farm for 3 different knee pads here that can drop in the light zone. That would be the exotic Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads, the exotic Sawyer's knee pads, and then of course the Overlord named knee pads. Those are the Fox's Prayer knee pads, which give you 8% damage to targets out of cover. And those are usually best in slot if you're running a rifle or anything that isn't, Hunter's Fury, something that's all high-end build. Strikers, I don't recommend at DCDHQ unless you want to increase your rate of fire with the 3-piece. And then Negotiator's Dilemma at Potomac Event Center. This is a great DPS set for ARs, SMGs, and LMGs, and I'll put an example video in the top right of my double LMG build that I really enjoy to use still. We got shotguns over here at West End, so of course you could farm for the Sweet Dreams exotic shotgun that comes with the Sandman talent where you can melee and one-hit kill anything that is not an elite, and that's definitely worth farming for, but I honestly would rather farm for the Mop with 10% armor on kill, a custom M870, or Marine Super 90. Those are better shotguns than the Sweet Dreams exotic shotgun in my opinion. We got Providence Defensive Federal Emergency Bunker, so of course you could farm for the Sacrifice with Perfect Glass Cannon, amplifying all damage you do by 30%, but incoming by 60%. We got rifles at Downtown West. It's a Diamondback and Merciless for your exotic rifles. And then for a good rifle, just get a classic M1A. I mean, honestly, you can get the Surge with a perfect spike on it. That's going to give you an extra 25% skill damage every 25 seconds that you land a headshot. Otherwise, if you have that M1A or any other damage rifle, just put Rifleman, Boomerang, or Ranger on it. Those are the best damage talents. I personally love Boomerang. And yeah, that's about it for this area of the DC map. I'll just mention two things real quick before we take off. Walker Harrison Co. at White House. So this is where you would farm for the the Chain Killer chest piece with Perfect Headhunter. And I'm thinking about putting out a headshot damage build and another headshot damage build with shotguns. So maybe stay tuned for that as well. And comment in the comment section below on what you think I should do, if I should post those or not sometime this weekend. Otherwise, we got holsters at the Pentagon, so you got 3 holsters you could farm for in the, light zone. The light zone, of course, meaning everything outside the dark zone and conflict. And that would, of course, be the Imperial Dynasty holster exotic, the Dodge City holster exotic, and then lastly, the named one that you can get outside of the dark zone is the Forge. That gives you 50% shield health, so an extra skill tier towards your shield. All right, let's go check out the east side. Alright, agents, we're over here on the east side. Target loot highlights. Starting off with the gear sets, we got aces and 8s at Downtown East. What I'm going to do is put an example of a great headshot damage build in the bottom left overlay. That's definitely worth farming for sure. We got Future Initiative at Federal Triangle. That's a healer build, but remember the chest and backpack are raid exclusive, so keep that in mind when farming. But it does mix very well with an Alp Summit chest piece with Empathetic Resolve and a good backpack with Safeguard. We got Ongoing Directive at Jefferson Trade Center. That's a bleed damage build. You usually want to run with Ridgeway's Pride, 4 pieces of Ongoing, and then, of course, the Eclipse Backpack that gives you 30% amplified damage to status-affected enemies, and that's always running when you're running the Ridgeway's Pride with 4-piece Ongoing Directive. And then lastly, we got Tip of the Spear at Jefferson Plaza. You could mix 4 pieces of this with like a Chain Killer chest piece, and you could really do some crazy damage with that TAC 50 rifle with the sharpshooter, specialization. But that's a really niche build. Maybe Mr. Frosty Flakes would like that. Shout out to you. Thank you for subscribing and always coming by the channel, sir. Otherwise, for the rest of the loot, we got masks over here at Air and Space Museum. So, of course, you could farm for the exotic Coyotes and Vial mask. Otherwise, I wouldn't really farm for the Punch Drunk mask here. That's something you would want to farm Douglas and Harding for. We do have Petrov at Viewpoint Museum, though, if you want those Contractor's Gloves with 8% damage to armor. Those are always worth running if you're going to be stacking damage to armor, like 2-piece Walker Harrison Co., or if you're going to just be running an LMG build. Now, backpacks, you can farm for the Memento backpack if anyone's interested in refarming for another one for maybe another character. BTSU gloves at District Union Arena you could farm for. Those are exotic gloves that are going to be highly viable in TU12. And then, of course, your Contractor's Gloves, but you want to farm Petrov for that usually. And then Hana Yu at Judiciary Square. You can farm for the Force Multiplier Backpack with Perfect Combined Arms. 30% extra skill damage every, 3 seconds you're landing a shot on an enemy. And then lastly, we got Assault Rifles over here at American History Museum. You can get the exotic Chameleon, which is very good and goes great with that True Patriot build I mentioned earlier. Except for you want to swap the Sokolov chest piece out for a Fenris chest piece, but keep Intimidate. Otherwise, the best, assault rifles that you can get in this game would be the FAMAS, the Military AKM, the Carbine 7, and the Police M4 variants. Also, real quick, you can also get some named ones that are pretty good. That would be the Mechanical Animal of Future Perfection, the Maniac, and the Burnout named FAMAS. Alright, agents, let's go ahead and check out what we got in New York City, and then I'll let you guys go. Alright, agents, we're over here lastly at New York City targeted loot highlights, and I want to get started with the absolute highlight for today, and that is going to be the Civic Center open world area for SMG targeted loot. Now, if you guys already know or don't know, I'll just inform you, this is the best way to farm for the Lady Death. Of course, you could farm for the Chatterbox and the Backfire as well if you've gotten it already from the Season 3 rewards. Those are the 3 exotic SMGs, but the Lady Death drops from its main source, which is open world NYC bosses, which I'll leave a link in the video description below, which will show you a map of all the open bosses, in New York City. Now, this is one source you can get it from. The second would be SMG targeted loot. Now that it's combined in one area, it just highly increases your chances of getting the Lady Death. Otherwise, the Dark Winter and the Apartment, unfortunately, are Dark Zone exclusives. And of course, there are a few named SMGs you can get outside of the Dark Zone, which would be the Safety Distance with Perfect Outsider, Swap Chain, the Grudge. I think there's a few more maybe. We got Badger Tough at the Tomb, so that's the 0F's chest piece with Perfect Unbreakable. And then Overlord over here at Stranded Tanker if you want to farm those Fox's pair of knee pads. We got Araldo Holding at Pathway Park. You always want to farm this and get rolls with weapon damage, weapon handling, and headshot damage right into it, and a backpack with vigilance or composure. Sokolov in the open world as well in this Battery Park area. We got MMRs at Liberty Island. You can farm for the Mantis, which someone was asking me, a subscriber was asking me earlier today or yesterday, how do you get the Mantis? Well, you farm MMR targeted loot. The Nemesis, you have to complete the quest. We had Grand Washington Hotel invaded last week, so that would have been where you got Puck's blueprint. Otherwise, I'd recommend the White Death or Ekem's long stick. And Foundry Bulwark, of course, that's an armor regen tank set, so I don't really use it that often. But if you do, comment in the comment section below and let me know what build you use on it. Anyway, that's it for the New York City targeted loot. Alright, agents, well, that was the targeted loot for today. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed my content. If you would like to become a member for support and exclusive perks, you can click the join button below. It very, very greatly helps me out. And thank you so much for all the members that do, support me through this method. You can also grab some Shadow Gaming merchandise by clicking the link in the pinned comment and video description below. I got all sorts of new stuff in the store, lower prices, promo code that's going until the 30th of November. So definitely check that out as well. You can support me on alt tech like Patreon, Subscribestar, Storyfire, BitChute, all sorts of different ways to support me outside of YouTube if you prefer. But if you're still watching this video right now to the end, thank you so much. That's really the best way to support me, and if you use ad blocker, you can of course whitelist me on it if you prefer. Anyway, agents, stay tuned for more daily Division 2 content. This is Agent Shadow signing off. I will see you in the next video. Take care, agents.